So I can remember when my son was born, and I was so determined not to screw that kid up. Like, I was so terrible. I couldn't believe that they were going to let me leave the hospital with him. It seemed really irresponsible on their part. And I have never felt love like that in my entire life. I had never been so invested in somebody else's experience and trajectory in life in my life. And so I started reading a bunch of articles about, effective child rearing. And one article that I came across said that we shouldn't tell our kids that we're proud of them. That as a society, we are trained and ingrained to look for affirmation outside of ourselves, and that starts with our parents. So rather than feeling a sense of pride and value in what we do intrinsically in ourselves, we start looking to outside people for affirmation that we have done a good job or that we should be proud. And this resonated with me because I had spent my entire lifetime looking for validation outside of myself to tell me that I was okay. And every achievement was riddled with a sense of either overinflated ego, fueled by needing other people to tell me how awesome I am. Or even if I felt really good about the achievement, if I couldn't get the right kind of validation outside of myself, it diminished my accomplishment. And so I was so invested in him understanding how amazing and miraculous he was that I never wanted to be somebody that would install that belief system into my child. And so what I replaced it with is when he and then my daughter, when she came along almost 5 years later, was when he would have an amazing accomplishment or she would have an amazing accomplishment. She would come and say, "Mommy, look what I did." I would say, "That's amazing," or "That's so exciting. Are you proud of yourself?" Or "Are you proud of you?" Because I wanted them to feel that sense of pride in themselves for the accomplishment that they had done and not need the validation from me. And I will tell you, I have been their biggest cheerleader from the moment that they came. Like every dance recital, every game, every practice, I'm like, I just want a front row seat to these amazing people's lives, right? But the question was always, "Look, Mommy, look at my amazing report card. That's phenomenal. Are you proud of yourself?" And, I thought I was really crushing it. Check me out. I'm such an evolved parent. Like, I make sure my kids are proud of themselves. Until very recently, my daughter said to me, "Mommy, you never tell me that you're proud of me. Are you proud of me?" And I felt like I had failed, right? Here I am trying so hard to make sure that these people know how amazing, inherently amazing they are in their own right without needing anybody else to validate that or tell them that they're fantastic. And I tell my children that I love them every minute of every day. I mean, my son, I'm like, this morning he had a friend spending the night. He's almost 16 years old and he's got a friend spending the night. I'm like, "Good morning, sweet boy, I love you." He's like, the good news is he's known the friend since he was in second grade, and they just roll their eyes at me and move on. But so when she said that to me, it caught my breath for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to make sure that I understood and answered with it felt like a really important question, and I wanted to make sure that I gave it the gravity that it deserved. But also, what I realized and what I was trying to figure out how to articulate is that I think those two human beings are the most miraculous beings I have ever encountered in my entire life. I think the sun rises and sets right out of their tiny little tushies. I think they are incredible. incredible. And they are incredible because they're my kids, but also because they are kind and they are loving and they are smart and they are loyal. And my daughter is sensitive and artistic and all of these things that just make her spectacular. And those are all the things that I am beaming with pride about. But I was also beaming with pride when she went pee-pee in the potty. Like, it doesn't take much. There's not much accomplishment that they need, that very little. Scribble crap on a paper, and I'm like, brilliant, right? I'll be the first one to tell you how incredible. Like, you ever seen a grandmother or a parent like talk about their kid? They're like, oh my God, let me tell. Like, I can't wait to get a captive audience to tell you just how spectacular these two people are, right? Because of who they are. All of their accomplishments and the things that they do, I am so excited for them. When my son got Rookie of the Year for track and field this year, I was so excited for him. And I was sitting there probably more excited than he was, his biggest champion. And when my daughter creates these amazing artistic masterpieces, like with a talent far beyond her years, or the perfect report card that she got, we call it the unicorn report card. I am so excited for her and for him. But that's not what brings me pride. Pride is not what you do. I am proud of the people. I am proud of the people that you two are. And I am proud that I get to be your mother. And I'm proud that I get a front row seat to watch your dynamic, amazing selves unfold into the creative choices that you make that lead you to the tenacity that you have that gives you the ability to bring a perfect report card into this world. The perseverance. I am proud of my son because he gets up at the butt crack of dawn to go work out and to go out on that track and field. He is one of the most dedicated athletes and still manages to keep his grades up. That brings me pride. The awards that he gets make me excited. And there's a difference. And I think that that's what we really need to connect with. You know, I have been going through over the last couple of months, years, ever since I turned 38 again for like the third time, I've been having what I like to call a midlife cliche. We talk a lot about midlife crises, and the midlife crisis is, you know, we think of like the man who like shtups his secretary and gets a convertible. Sorry, but like that's generally what we think of with the midlife crisis. Proud to say I've not done either of those things. But we talk about it in terms of the external thing that is happening, right? Like Johnny just lost his mind out of the blue, and suddenly he's like, we don't even recognize him anymore. And for me, what happened, and I think not to make it a man versus woman thing, but I think what happens a lot of times for women, I think more life coaches are generated in the second half of people's lives than in any other time frame. Because I think what happens is we are trained and ingrained, it is entrenched in our belief system that for the first half of our lives, it's all about achievement. It's all about hitting that next rung, right? You go to school and you get good grades, and then you're supposed to get into a good college, and then you're supposed to meet the love of your life, and you're supposed to get married, and then you're supposed to have 2.5 children, and then you're supposed to buy the house with the white picket fence, and then you're supposed to climb the corporate career ladder, and you're supposed to, and so on and so on and so on. Now, there may be different variations of the same story, but the common theme is the same, right? And so when you get to about 38 again for the fourth time, you start to recognize, I did it all. I did it. I have these amazing children and this amazing husband, the house and the career. And then I got to a place where I was like, I don't actually want to rise to the next level in my career. I have an amazing career that I'm very proud of. I do very well for myself, which provides for an amazing life for my family, and I do not regret that at all. but it wasn't fulfilling me from the inside anymore. All my life, because I had been seeking validation outside of myself and the attaboys and the achievements to define who I was and to tell me that I was okay and that I had earned my place on this planet, I didn't know what to do when that no longer filled me up anymore. Who was I if a shiny gold star wasn't going to fix it anymore? And what was next? And so some people are like, oh my God, corporate America is not fulfilling. I'll just become a life coach, right? But me, I'm precocious. I am bigger than that. I am magnificent. And so I decided that I was going to go out and teach people how to be leaders, that I was going to, I found Rick Tamlin, who, shameless plug, Rick Tamlin, he's amazing. Reverend Nancy wrote a book through Rick Tamlin, wrote a book and is getting it out into the world in epic ways, thanks to the amazing Rick Tamlin, whose whole premise is, it's all made up. With the whole game, the whole system, it's all made up. So what game do you want to play? How do you want to play it? And so I went to Rick, and I was like, I want to be a speaker. I want to be out in the world in this big and dynamic way. And I was very clear, I want you to be center stage and, I want to be signing books and adoring fans and the whole thing. And then I had what I can only describe as my midlife crisis, my midlife cliche moment, where I was like, all of a sudden I realized that I had gone to Rick saying, find me the next level of achievement that's going to make me feel okay inside. What's the next step for me? I already did the career, I already did the kids, I got the minister, I got a doctorate. Like, I did the damn thing. So now I need an entire amphitheater of adoring fans to tell me that I'm okay. And of course, because I'm 38 again for the 5th time, and I'm a minister, right? I'm a minister, so I'm supposed to have this stuff figured out. But everything backs up to a belief, and unless we're willing to really excavate and really bravely and boldly look at our belief system, we're gonna keep showing up to the same system in different formats, in different forms, expecting a different result. I thought I'd done practitioner. I'm teaching a workshop on belief excavation this week. On digging it up and finding it and living the lives that we want. Our entire teaching is predicated on the belief, on the notion, on the truth that our beliefs are creating our lives, right? So imagine my surprise when I show up to the amazing Dr. Ricky T saying, fix me from the outside in once more. And I fell apart, because I came up against all of the things and all of the awarenesses that I had been looking for other people to tell me that I was okay. And so what I thought was going to be spending a year putting everything out into the universe in this big epic way, for me became going right back to basics. What is the core tenet of science of mind? Our beliefs are creating our lives. So what do I have to do during this midlife cliche that I'm experiencing? I have to be willing to go back and excavate my beliefs and do a deep dive, which is why I decided, I was like, Rick, I don't know what I want to put out into the world. I don't know who I want to be. I don't even know who I am at the moment. But I do know that I am committed to these principles. I'm committed to this teaching. I believe and know that it works. And I want to find out what's in there. Because what I'm most proud of, I love excavating and digging in and finding out more about me. I am the most amazing piece of clay I've ever met. And you should be the most amazing piece of clay that you've ever met. This is your life, and you get to create it. Rick's right. It is all made up. And we're making it up based on what we believe. And so if I believe that my value can only be defined by people outside of myself, I have some work to do. And I was like, and I want to do it, and I want to do it loud. And Rick said, this is the material that you put out into the world. And I said, but Rick, I'm a minister. You want me to just stand up and say I had a midlife crisis in the middle of, the Global Truth Center? And Rick turned to me, he said, Tiffani, I'm not sure if you're aware, but right now in this moment, that's the most interesting thing about you. I was like, touche. All right, midlife crisis it is for the 38 and 6th or 7th year in a row, right? So here's the truth. Did you see my heel almost? Yeah. I'm going to stand right here. I did. Wasn't that very graceful? Nobody saw my underpants. You're welcome, Mom. This workshop that I'm teaching came out of that understanding that I want to be an excavator. I want to boldly go where no man has gone before. And I want to help other people to do it too. I want other people to join this journey with me. And then when Dr. James asked me to teach practitioner, first of all, I am so honored. But that was my favorite year of all of my training. The first year of practitioner is how life got to be this way. It's all about excavating. And then when we decided, then it grew into, we want to offer it to the practitioners who have been practitioners all along, because who doesn't need to go back to basics and know what they are believing today? Because the me 10 years ago could never have been in a place where I would have been blindsided by the reality that I was still looking for a validation outside of myself to tell me that I was okay. But the me today saw it. The me today felt sorry for myself for a few minutes. And then the me today popped into action. And then when I started to get into action, the me today got inspired to be of service with it, to take it out into the world and to help other people to be their own excavators in their own lives. And the me of today was like, then I want to teach practitioner because I want to go back to the basics of understanding this teaching so much and excavating belief so much that it transforms the entire world. But most importantly, we get to start making up our lives any way we want from a belief system that works for us. I want to boldly live my life knowing that I have value because of who I am, that I am a goddess, that I am holy, that I am loving, that I am a divine being. Because from there, everything that I do is going to be magnificent. Everything that I do should be something that I am so excited about. But I don't want to be excited about the things that I do or the effects of my consciousness. I don't want to be excited about my job or my career. I want to be excited about those things. But I don't want to live a life where those define me, where those give me value, where those are the things that I'm proud of. I want to be proud of who I am, and I want to be amazed and excited about the things that I do out in this world. Thank you. Carl Jung says, beware of those that offer answers. They may be sincere, but their answers are not necessarily yours. Adaptive loyalty to what we have received from our environment may prove an unconscious subversion of the integrity of the soul. There's a lot of answers out there. There's a lot of choices. There's a lot going on. But we have to start asking ourselves, does this resonate with who I am? Does what works for you so epically and so brilliantly work for me? Because if the answer is no, then I need to be brave enough to be very excited for you that works for you, and be proud of me for saying no to something that doesn't resonate with my own soul. Because you are holy. And your life is holy, and your days are holy, and your mind is holy, and your body is holy, and your laugh is holy, and your tears are holy, and your love is holy. And when you truly believe this, you will be amazed at what you can do, because you will know who you are. Namaste.